Sampras, I guess the questions, Mary Carrillo, about him after Wimbledon. He was the heavy favorite to win again here at the U.S. Open, separating himself from the field. Only two things really were question marks. One, the ankle injury, and two, a 6-week layoff. Your response on the basis of what you've seen in the first 2 rounds?
I think he's going to do just fine. He played Wimbledon, which of course he won, and then he played Davis Cup U.S. against the Netherlands, and at that point he was really hobbled in the match against Richard Krajicek, a match he lost. He hasn't played since until he came here to the Open, and he looks fine.
Tendonitis in the ankle. His opponent is Roger Smith. He's 30 years old. He's ranked 187 in the world. He's a qualifier, meaning he had to win 3 matches just to get in the tournament. Since then, he defeated Diego Narciso of Italy and Henrik Holm, a very good win against a tough opponent in 5 sets. He's from Freeport in the Bahamas, a longtime member of the Davis Cup team of the Bahamas, and is given absolutely no chance against Pete Sampras here today.
Oldest man left in the draw at 30.
And pouring through his tour records, the best that I could find for Roger against a top-ranked player was a set victory over Edberg about 1989 in a match that he subsequently lost. But he has been out there against some of the top players like Becker and Edberg, a couple of more, Michael Stief. And of course he's faced a number of them in Davis Cup play representing the Bahamas.
He actually has a win over Ivan Lendl, a match years ago back in Stratton Mountain when Ivan Lendl was ranked #1 in the world. But I watched that match, and Lendl tried very hard to tank it. He didn't want to be there. And in fact, at a certain point in the match, he said, "I don't want to win this match." And this guy can't. Roger Smith did end up beating Lendl. In fact, in the locker room afterwards, asked for Lendl's autograph. It was a big day for him. He has since said the autograph wasn't for him.
I knew you were leaving the Lendl one out of his actual victories against name-ranked opponents.
It's in the book.
For reasons you described.
It's in the book, so
14-15.
Just wide.
Let's see what he does here. He's had a good tournament so far. Remember, he's played 5 matches. He had to win those 3. The first 3 you see with a cue beside him in the qualifying round. And then Narciso and Henrik Holm. And Henrik Holm is a tough out. Smith's attitude has been terrific about playing Sampras. He said, hey, this is an opportunity. I see it as an opportunity. Stadium Court, just his 3rd U.S. Open appearance.
And he had to qualify all 3 times he's gotten here.
In 1987, he made the 2nd round. That's the best he's able to do. So Sampras holds here in Game 1 of this best 3 of 5 set match. We'll be back with more tennis action in a moment.
The first game.
This Open, a USTA event, is sponsored by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. Mass Mutual. At Mass Mutual, we help you keep your promises. And by Sears. Come see the many sides of Sears.
Back on the stadium court, Roger Smith is 15-love against Pete Sampras, down a game here in the opening set. Those of you in Ohio will probably remember Roger Smith as a Big Ten champion back in the 80s. He was at Ohio State University from 1984 to 1986, and in fact still holds the all-time career wins record for tennis players at Ohio State. Beloved.
Biggest part of Roger Smith's game is his serve, and he's got to serve very well for 3 sets. It's his only chance. His first serve is big. In fact, about 4 years ago when they started putting the clock on serves, this guy hit it over 130 miles an hour. But his second serve, I think, will really worry him because it's kind of a sidewinder second serve. Doesn't have much on the ball. Kind of wraps around it instead of kicking over it. On the grandstand, the young Republicans lead the crash test dummies now a set and a break.
Have you checked on their political affiliation?
I think it's an amazing contrast with Palmer and McEnroe against those guys.
40-15.
Yeah, there's that nice big serve. He's got to pump a lot of them in.
Roger Smith serving well here in his first game. I think at age 30, that I don't think you have to worry about jitters with him. He's had Davis Cup experience. He's been out against some of the big guys, even though this is only his third time in the U.S. Open. He's not a frightened young player coming in to a big event for the first time. It's simply that he's ranked 187 against the top player in the world.
Sampras asking for a second ball. He's one of the only guys on the tour who does this. A lot of women do. And a double fault. He didn't used to do it, but see this new clothing he wears, those shorts of his, they've got
pockets?
they've got deep pockets. He doesn't like fishing around for the extra ball. And his clothing manufacturers actually sewed them up tighter for him. But by then he's already gotten used to the idea of getting the second ball from the ball kiddies.
Love
30, early trouble for Sampras. I think Chris Everett invented this. The idea that...
one ball?
Yeah, one ball
time?
because it's her two-handed backhand. You know, in the juniors, she used to just get rid of the empty ball and throw it away, but it's too much of a distraction in the pros. And there are ball kids there.
Well, and of course, Blanca Sanchez Vicario came up with her own little second ball holder that she has on the back of her skirt.
Second ace for Sampras. That's pretty impressive. This is a pretty big deal for Roger Smith. There's his family watching on. Well, his little kid there, obviously too afraid to look. But it was Todd Martin who twice broke Pete Sampras at Wimbledon, and in the second round he was broken one other time by Richie Renneberg. So this hasn't happened much at all lately. And it's happened now.
Very good return by Roger Smith. And we're even at, it's 2-1 Smith, pardon me.
Smith leads 2 games.
Smith with a second serve, having just broken Pete Sampras, a 2-1 lead here in the first set. Big serve from Roger Smith.
30 love.
Roger's wife, Deborah. They actually live out in California now. It's his mom there, watching on. And that's his kid in the back there. Obviously, that kid is, grandmother's there. The kid is too scared to watch. But if things continue like this, maybe they should wake up that kid. Coach Bruce Foxworth used to play on the tour.
I remember Bruce when he was on the tour. Bruce, an American
40 love.
who spent some time out on the men's tour. He's got to be feeling pretty good about seeing Roger out here against the top player in the world, looking for a major upset. He's got a 40 love lead. And an ace from Smith and a 3-1 lead here in the first. Who knows what might lie ahead in this match? After all, look at these upsets. You know, I think
3-1.
that Goliath was about 1,000-to-1 favorite in that one too, as I recall.
Yeah, well,
who knows? Douglas over Tyson, the Jets beat the Colts, all those memories of upsets past. number 187, Roger Smith,
15 love.
holds the lead here in the first set. 15 love now, Sampras.
This tournament is taking on that Cool Runnings feel.
That's right. Now,
Or
not
maybe
everybody saw that movie, but that was the
13
Jamaican
love.
bobsled team,
Yeah.
of course.
Something of an upset.
Their success at the Olympics, at least in the film picture. Coolly executed by Sampras on that
14 love.
point. Perfect pass. Meanwhile, on the grandstand court in that men's doubles, it is 6-1, 5-2, McEnroe and Jared Palmer.
Game,
over the
Sampras.
Jetsons. And Sampras got it rolling in that game, but is
Smith
still
leads
down a break
the games
here in
in
the
two.
first set.
The new face is sponsored by Mass Mutual. Although 18-year-old Lindsay Davenport felt the pressure of being the highest-seeded American woman at the U.S. Open, she has still found time to have fun.
A lot of the people around me and the people I hang out with and travel with really keep it fun and have me do things, and when I lose, still go out. And I think that's one of the reasons why I try and be so happy.
Though she was upset in the third round, she's still one of tennis's new faces to watch.
For Roger Smith in Game 6 of the first set, 15 love.
Smith is serving under 50%, but he's 5 for 5 on second serves. Watch Pete Sampras. He'll try to really start attacking that second serve and making him pay. This man is so much more solid
15 all.
around than Roger. On this 4 years ago.
Roger Smith has got the Jensen-looking hat wear, at least. Cap turned around backwards as Mark Gellner did. Didn't work for Gellner yesterday. Sergei Bruguera. A roar of the crowd from the grandstand. Let's see what's happening with those crazy Jensen boys.
Well, they're about to be eliminated, Tim. It's match point. Couple of match points, in fact, for McEnroe and Palmer. They had an amusing moment here, Tony.
Yeah, they just had a terrific scramble, a wonderful point, and Luke missed an overhead. He had the racket choked up, and he got caught, not sure which hand to use, so now it's 2 match points for Palmer and McEnroe.
Come on! One last gasp. Come on. Still a match point for McEnroe Palmer. Had a nice run here at the Open.
Created some publicity, haven't they? Some interest?
I think they've developed a whole new legion of fans. And they're still in it.
Yep. Luke still has a smile on his face.
How about Roger Smith? 4-2 over Sampras in the first. Luke grateful for the support from up top.
Someone yelled something down to him before the last point. I couldn't hear what it was. But he responded to it with a big smile.
Left-handed on this serve. I asked someone close to the Jensens, how does he decide go righty or lefty. He says often it's just whatever the fans tell him to do. Back a deuce.
Deuce.
Jared Palmer, up-and-coming youngster, 23 years of age, going to get better and better, a very sound tennis player. That was a bit of a miss hit by Palmer. It got over the net and dropped quickly, and Murphy Jensen missed the little angle.
Six-one, 6-2. Patrick McEnroe, Jared Palmer.
Just a better team, better tennis players. The number 7 seed advanced. But the fans certainly have enjoyed the Jensen brothers. Their smash, their flash, their color.
You lost. Well, we got smoked. Back to the drawing board. Back to the bait shop. I'm 25, man. I've got 10 good years at tracking at you guys. CBS is going to be sick of me when I'm done.
You can hold on to that
They're
sports
sick of me
pack.
now. Oh my
They
God.
put on quite a show at the stadium the other night. We'll be back. Let's go to the stadium. Tim?
We got smoked. Well, it happens. It happens right now. Pete Sampras been smoked in the first set here by number 187 in the world.
Game Sampras.
Smoking shots from Roger Smith, but a smoking overhead by Sampras makes it 4-3.
Smith leads 4-3.
At least managed to get a little lunch in here too. On the stadium court, Roger Smith making Pete Sampras' lunch hour a little difficult.
No kidding. He's only lost 3 points on serve, and he's only had 1 unforced error.
Good work at the net from Roger Smith.
He's acquitting himself beautifully, which goes without saying. His family obviously is very pleased. Now Pete is going to have to step up his game, Tim, because he's being outplayed by a qualifier. Look at, he looks slow-footed there, not quite sharp. He's not attacking second serves. And that's the serve I'm talking about. That serve got nothing on it. It's a sidewinder, an 80-mile-an-hour serve. And Sampras hasn't even started breathing on this guy's second serve yet. Called loud, called long, 121.
Gets a double from Smith. Of course, you have to wonder, despite every player saying, I take them one at a time, I take all my opponents seriously and all of that stuff. So far in this first set, it would appear that perhaps Sampras had a little trouble getting pumped up for number 187 in the world. It's going to have to get pumped up now. There's another ace from Smith and a 5-3 lead. Let's go down to Andrea.
All right, Tim, I'm with Bruce Foxworth, Roger Smith's coach. A lot of people would not have given him a shot in this match, and yet here he is up a break. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. We had a game plan, and Roger's coming out, and I think...
What is the game plan, the strategy?
Well, you know, a lot of thoughts or talk of, you know, Pete's the #1 player in the world, obviously. But Roger has to play his game. He can't play defensively, and as long as he goes out and attacks me, he's very athletic, very quick, and I think his chances are very good.
When we were talking to you guys yesterday, his attitude seemed to be a little bit of, hey, I got nothing to lose. Is that helping him?
Well, he's only got the match to lose. Pete's got a lot more. So he's going for it, which he should do, and I'm happy to see it. If he just, it'll be great.
Okay, he's in good shape so far. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Andrea. Well, that's what Roger Smith told Andrea yesterday. He's going to go out there and be an attacker, go right at Pete Sampras. 40 love, 4 aces for Pete Sampras in this first set.
Game Sampras.
So an easy game that time for Sampras as the Jensen brothers continue to sign autographs for their new fans over there. We'll be right back. Smith on top. Roger Smith serving for the first set.
And he continues to be very stingy on points lost on serve. Now only 4 points lost, and 1 was a double. The only guy to take a set from Pete Sampras at Wimbledon this year was Todd Martin.
30 love.
That was in the semis. Look at this. Some heat going on. This match would be called Smith and Wesson. And now Pete is 2 points from losing a set in the 3rd round of this tournament. The last man to win the U.S. Open, 7 matches in straight sets, was Neil Fraser back in 1960. Pretty hard to do. A friend of ours, Tony Traber, did it twice, but he was a show-up.
That's quite an accomplishment, obviously.
Set point.
40-15.
Qualifier Roger Smith, number 187 in the world, chance to take the set. Second serve upcoming. Second double fault. He hasn't deviated from his attack plan at all. Looking very relaxed, very poised. Roger Smith of the Bahamas, leading the top player in the world, Pete Sampras by a set. Tim Gullison is
first
coach.
set. 6 games to
Now
4.
must be a little bit concerned, hoping this is not a bad day at the office for the defending champion.
I really don't think this has anything to do with Pete Sampras' ankle. I think he's just too sleepy. Pete is still on an anti-inflammatory Indocin. But at the Hamlet last week, a tournament he decided not to play. He was re-diagnosed. ATP Tour doctor David Alchek, who also is the Mets team doctor, obviously he's got a lot of time on his hands these days. He agreed that, in fact, it was a calcium deposit on Pete's ankle. He'd really changed his training around. Sampras had been training at about 50%, about half speed, until he was given the green light.
15 all.
And this is a nice bit of movement here from the sweet one. For 15 all. Nice little pickup.
Classic serve and volley from Sampras there. I would think Tim Gullickson would be saying to him, if he could, if he were allowed to, just pick up your intensity, Pete, off that first set.
Well, Tom Gullickson, this guy's twin brother, is allowed to coach Pete during Davis Cup. He's the Davis Cup captain.
Should explain, I guess, to those who don't watch tennis regularly, the personal coaches here are not allowed to coach. That's why they're sitting in the stands like the rest of us. And they're not allowed to yell out or use hand signals, and of course none of them ever do it.
Right.
40-15.
40-15. I don't think Pete normally needs a lot of coaching. So Sampras holds here to open the second set.
Sampras wins the first game, second set.
And now, this tournament summary sponsored by the Travelers Insurance Companies.
Well, here's what's new today. Kimiko Date over Leila Meski, her second straight year into the quarterfinals in the women's draw. 3 German men have made it to the 4th round for the first time ever. Stieg, Rensenbrink, and Karbacher. And Gabriela Sabatini has made it into the quarters for the 8th consecutive time. Tim Ryan with Mary Carrillo on the stadium court, where Roger Smith, the qualifier from the Bahamas, is up a set against the number 1 ranked defending champion Pete Sampras. Down love 1 here in the second. And down love 15. Smith had only 4 unforced errors in that first set. He won 6-4, as you can see, and I think that's tribute to the attitude that he brought in here. He wanted to attack, he wanted to be in Sampras' face, but he also has had the poise to not commit unforced errors so far.
What Sampras has to be willing to do, I think, right at the start of this second set, is to be willing to work the point, get back an awful lot more serves of Smith, especially his second serve, because he's shooting a lot of them, and make Smith play a lot of balls. Missed it wide. We talk about how big Roger Smith's first serve is. These numbers tend to underscore that, 93%, and again, an entirely too healthy second serve percentage as far as Pete Sampras is concerned. He should be jumping on it, because this serve doesn't have much on it, just spin.
Yesterday we saw Sergi Bruguera, the number 3 seed, come out and sleepwalk through the first set against Mark Gullner. Looked just awful. Lost at 6-1. Looked like he didn't want to be here at all. Came back to win it, but he had to go 5. Lies ahead for number 1 seed, Pete Sampras. That's why we're here, to show you what's going to happen.
Wasn't pretty, it wasn't clean. He didn't hit too many strings with that one. It was enough. This is the movie made. Sampras hit it a pretty good ball. All he had to do is get his racket on and dump it over the net.
Good play by Smith with the lob against the attacker.
This really was a lovely lob. Sampras didn't have a good crack at it and got a little lucky there to draw things back to deuce. Yeah, he's seeing the ball well, Smith.
Advantage
He
Smith.
didn't commit himself. He trusted his instincts. He trusted that he could catch the Sampras shot off the strings. Made a lovely move to it. So another game point. It's been pretty good up at the net.
That's a familiar Sampras shot.
His running forehand is the best in men's tennis.
I'd say Stefan Edberg might be right there with him. That's when he seems to hit his forehand best, when he's on the fly like that, but his legs are only slightly over. Not much. Smoke from Sampras.
Advantage Sampras.
Finally, Sampras has a break point. Hasn't had one all match.
Sampras a 2-love lead here in the second. Opening the first 6 games to 4.
Sampras leads 2 games to love.
Not much on this volley. Gave Sampras plenty of time to line up, power it down the line for the break.
Sampras serving at 15-love. Marcos Umbruska is tied up with Javier Frana. 1-all in the, well, now they just put up a new score here. 1-all in the 5th, and Woodbridge leading Novacek 4-3.
Great run from Todd Woodbridge, who's another Q. He had to win 3 matches in qualifying to get where he is today.
30-love.
Base from Sampras for a 30-love lead. 117 miles per hour.
Last year's surprise finalist, Cedric Pioline from France, is leading Jaime Izaga. The winner will play
30-15.
Well, we all assume it'll be this guy. We're not sure of that anymore.
That's right. The winner of Pioline Izaga gets the winner of this match. Potential rematch between Pioline and Sampras.
Sampras smoked him, and keep saying smoke. He killed him in last year's final. Break a set, and that was it.
14-15.
40-15.
Top of the draw has really emptied out for Pete Sampras. Beresitegi lost early. Medvedev lost. Of course, Jim Courier lost up there as well.
Another easy service game for Sampras. Will return to the U.S. Open after this word from your local station. Andre Agassi over on the practice courts has just completed his workout for today, doing his autograph signing duty.
Good luck for Kang, Isaac. All right, man.
And tomorrow he will be in action here on CBS Sports as part of our program that begins at 12:30 p.m. You'll see him against Michael Chang. Remember the reason he's meeting him so early. Agassi is an unseeded player in this men's draw. Love Sampras lead here in the second set. Roger Smith, the qualifier, won the first. And he's up 15-love here in game 4 of set number 2.
Last October, the U.S. in Charlotte played against the Bahamas in a relegation round because they had lost in the first round of Davis Cup to Australia. And there were only a couple of hundred Bahamians who came to the match, but they had cowbells, they had bands. It sounded like an away game.
They were organized.
They were great. It was really one of the most festive Davis Cup ties I've ever covered.
They're wonderful people. That is a great place to go on vacation, the Bahamas.
Well, at the time, the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association members were talking to me about tennis there. Now, they said there's only 200 members of the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association, and there's no public courts. All the tennis courts in the Bahamas are at resorts.
We got to get it off the lawns onto the public courts.
Well, that's why playing that Davis Cup against the U.S. was such a big deal for them, because it generated an awful lot of interest. And, of course, this match, Roger Smith taking a set from Pete Sampras will hopefully do good things for the Bahamas.
40-15.
Man, he's firing.
That's his third ace. Serve, 119 miles an hour right to the corner. 3 games to 1.
3-1, Sampras.
Terrific movement from Roger Smith. Sampras hits a very heavy ball. He gets his whole body behind it. There's plenty of weight to his shots. Smith moved very well to get behind that ball and slide it cross court for the winner. Pete only serving at 50%, which is making his life move too complicated right now.
15 all.
Not that he's got a bad second serve, Sampras. In fact, I think he's got the very best second serve in men's.
13-15.
But it means he can't come in behind. You know, he tends not to come in behind his second serve. Smith took the net away from him and won that point.
Wait, please.
Still in command of the game at 40-15. Command of the game at 40-15. Chance to move up 4 games to 1 here in the second set.
Game Sampras.
And he does. The number 1 seeded Pete Sampras.
Sampras. Correction, 40-30.
Well, they have corrected the score to 40-30. The players seem to be right on it. The scoreboard was not, and neither was our umpire, Bill Barber. point. Great stuff from Sampras. Competitive returns from Smith.
Gave it a pretty good try, Roger Smith.
Game Sampras. Sampras leads 4 games to 1.
But could only postpone the inevitable for so long at this point. Sampras sitting on the net and finishes it off.
And now it's 4 games to 1 for Pete Sampras. Here in the second set, he's down a set. Roger Smith serving at 1-4 here in the Stadium Court, second set. And there's the Sampras pass.
15 all.
Smith not doing enough with that volley and pays for it. Got past cold.
The race for Roger Smith. 14 miles an hour, number 4 in the match. Michael Steek earlier here in the Stadium Court ousted Byron Black of Zimbabwe in straight sets. An upset here, mild one, but nonetheless, a qualifier Rensenbrink. Not a qualifier, pardon. Sabatini advanced. Also here on the Stadium Court. Rensenbrink, one of the young Germans. Mild upset over Andreas Cadenzi, Italy. Long and wide.
14-15.
Date advancing on the grandstand court into the quarterfinals. And in doubles play over there, Patrick McEnroe and Jared Palmer. Too much for the Jensen boys. 3-1 in the fifth there on Ruska leading Frana. Roger Smith, then hit the perfect shot.
Sampras, ball game, no ball game.
This is just a lot of good work from the 30-year-old Roger Smith.
Sampras at 4-2 here in the second set.
15-0.
Todd Woodbridge, a qualifier like Roger Smith, and doing battle with Karl Novacek in the fifth. Cedric Pioline, 6-1, 3, time of Izaga. Wide.
Novacek, the man who took out defending champion Stefan Edberg over on the grandstand early last year.
And eliminated Andrei Medvedev this year. Seeded player. Sampras. In the second set, he's down a set on the Stadium Court.
Sampras leads 5.
Roger Smith serving at 2-5 here on the Stadium Court against Pete Sampras, the top seed. Roger Smith from the Bahamas. If you joined us along the way, he's ranked number 187, the lowest ranking player left in the draw, a qualifier, 3 years of age, longtime member of the Bahamian Davis Cup team. And his double fault, third of the match for him. His only big win, a somewhat suspect one, a few years back at Stratton Mountain, Vermont against Ivan Lendl. down, love 30.
Love 30.
Pete could pick up his intensity and nobody would know it. It just occurred to me, you know? I mean, you don't know for sure his level of intensity.
He's a bit of a flatliner. But,
Love 14.
I kind of like that about him. I got no problem watching Silk Sampras play tennis. I like the way he does it. I just think the quality of his tennis had to come up after that first set, and it has. A couple of set points now.
Deep enough for the lob, and a good effort by Roger Smith.
15-14.
Saves one of 3 set points.
Not enough of a lob on that. Not high enough. Oh, that's just a wonderful volley.
Saves another.
30-14.
And there's the break for Sampras and the set. Let's go on to court 17, where Barry McKay is watching the thriller into the 5th set. Barry?
All right, Tim, I bet you thought I'd left. I'm here. It is the 5th set. Novacek now 1-0 in the tiebreak. Novacek was down 2 match points in the 3rd set, pulled it out in that tiebreak. Here he is at 1-0 tiebreak in the 5th. Todd Woodbridge, at the top of your picture, a great Australian doubles player who, as Mary mentioned, had to qualify to get into this tournament. Novacek, a tremendous backhand winner up the line, and these guys are hitting out. Novacek had a 40-love lead in the last game, let it slip away, finally won it. 1-all now. Just wide. Well, it goes way out wide. Novacek, 2-1. The winner of this will face either Andruska or Frana. They are going at it over on court 18. It's 3-all in the 5th. I can see it from where I'm sitting. It's packed out here. 17 and 18, not an empty seat. 1-2, Woodbridge to serve. Great return from Novacek. Catches Woodbridge. He tries the delicate little half volley. It goes long. Woodbridge, who has more doubles titles than you can imagine, with Woodford. Look at their tiebreak records. Very deep return from Novacek, catches Woodbridge, and so now Novacek at 4-1. Tiebreak is used here in the 5th set at this Grand Slam championship. None of those 19-17 finishes we've seen over at Wimbledon. This one will end this afternoon. 4-1 Novacek. Ooh, a late call. Very late call on that serve. Novacek not happy with it. wide. A very lucky break for Woodbridge. Novacek giving himself some Czech Republic. I'll tell you what, I agree with you. I would have really been frustrated with that forehand. Just caught the top of the net. Novacek, who knocked out Medvedev in the second round. Look at court 17. It is packed out here, not an empty seat. This match was the first on this court. They've been going at it for 3 hours and 20 minutes as Novacek pounds the serve down the middle. There is the elapsed time. And both of these guys playing like it's the first game of the match. They are moving well. Hitting winners. 2-5. Sitter backhand volley. Novacek had it lined up. Watch this backhand volley. Novacek's all set to knock off the winner. Woodbridge now moves to his left. It's a great topspin there. Novacek into the open court. He misses it. Look at the reaction from the Australian. I'm still in it. 3-5. Over on that stadium court, Roger Smith up a break in the third. And so now here on court 17, after being down 2 match points and 2 sets to love, Karl Novacek stands at match point. Karl Novacek on court 17, back from 2 sets to love, down in 2 match points. Novacek wins it in a tiebreak in the 5th. Let's head back now to the stadium at Tim and Marriott.
Well, thank you, Barry. University of Michigan star. That was a thrilling finish, and the outcome of the match between Ondruska and Frana should be coming shortly. The winner of that will meet Karl Novacek. It is 30-all here on the stadium court, with Roger Smith up 1 game to love, breaking Pete Sampras in the opening game of the 3rd set.
It seemed after basically the first set that Sampras was back on track. He had only 3 unforced errors in the 2nd set. But Sampras started off this 3rd set with 3 unforced errors and got busted. But now, he's got break point against Roger Smith to put things back square. Fine serve, 108, right in the side pocket. Stayed in. Sampras is trying to be more patient against Smith than he wants to be. Roger Smith undercuts the ball so much, slices it, dices it, purees it. Sampras doesn't like all that the softball stuff. But he's got to get used to it.
I don't mind it sliced and diced, but pureed, I hate that.
Yeah.
I really hate that when it's pureed.
Another break point save. Good looking serve. Both broken twice.
Advantage Sampras.
I'm delighted for this man, Roger Smith. I really thought Pete Sampras would pull away from him very quickly. And that has not happened.
Exactly. He keeps coming up with plays like that, a big serve when he needs it, plus he runs down every possible ball that he can get to.
It's more than just the 5 aces he's had, though. He's proving to be more solid on the baseline than I think Sampras expected. Again, it's that softball stuff. Those slow slice rolls. And Smith is just carving under the ball, scalloping it around, and it's got Pete a bit flummoxed.
And a 2-love lead for Roger Smith here in the third. They have split sets. Well, on this absolutely perfect day for tennis in New York, the Bud 1 airship and its eye-in-the-sky camera have been providing some wonderful shots for you from more than 1,000 feet above the U.S. Open. And there is a look at that stadium with all the seats sold in it. Some folks are out where Barry McKay has been watching matches on the outside courts. They've been over in the grandstand lining up to watch the Jensens earlier. They're in here to watch one of the female favorites, Gabriella Sabatini. And you could audibly hear Pete Sampras with an "oh man, I don't like that." Roger Smith, I should say, we picked up on the microphone. And Frana leading on Gruska 4-3 now in the fifth. On serve.
13 long.
That winner will meet Karl Novacek in the next round in men's play.
Kind of got jammed there on the return to serve, so he kind of came in on a bluff, didn't he? Hit and hope, and it didn't work out for him.
Sampras on the board here in the third set.
2-1 Smith.
Up with his brother Carl. He will play tomorrow here on CBS Sports against Andre Agassi. Back here on the stadium court, Roger Smith and Pete Sampras. That is called wide. Chang.
It's a match we were all waiting for, isn't it? Chang Agassi, round of 16.
Our coverage begins at 12:30. You'll see lots more than the Chang Agassi match, but that is our featured event. Nice deep shot from Smith. Missed the overhead. 15 more.
And for those of you just tuning in, this isn't Stan Smith driving Pete Sampras crazy today. It's Roger Smith of the Bahamas.
187 in the world. Lowest ranked player still in the draw. Had to qualify. Won 3 matches there. 2 more since then, including a 5-setter over Henrik Holm of Sweden. And that victory should have given Pete Sampras some pause. Holm, a tough guy. And Smith has been tough on Sampras.
Sampras has been tough on Sampras.
I want to say that.
Yeah, I really think so. He will not. I mean, if he works his way out of this round, he will not be happy with the way he's performed. Great day for Roger Smith. A lot of players try to overplay when they go up on a stadium court, packed house against the #1 guy in the world, and they take themselves out of their own game. This man has avoided that all match long. That's a terrific shot from Sampras. Smith was in a good position and he hit a fine approach. Watch how Sampras curls around this ball and gets a tremendous angle from behind the baseline. That's a great shot. But it's still game point for Smith. And he's already operating with the break. Let them all because of the paper flying across the court. Bill Barber in the chair.
I guess that ball boy is also a paper boy.
You know, it's not like Sampras isn't used to playing qualifiers. He's had to play an awful lot in the Grand Slams this year. In Australia, Pete Sampras played, well, he was a wild card, Joshua Eagle. In the French Open, 3 of the 4 wins Sampras had were against qualifiers. And here, he played a qualifier, Kevin Ulliet, in the first round. And that's the amazing thing about Sampras's draw. 4 of the 8 guys in Pete's quarter are outside of the top 100.
Nice catch on that backhand overhead from Smith.
And this guy here is closer to being ranked 200 than 100. There's the Sampras draw. Iska and Pielin is controlling that match so far.
15-all.
Tomorrow begins Pete Sampras' 52nd week at the top of the men's rankings. 1 year ago here, it was Courier who's #1. Look at that. Just jammed him right there. Bad preparation. He didn't react well to that ball. Didn't move his feet fast enough. There's a final. Frana gets past on Druska.
Javier Frana of Argentina advancing, and Pielin leading Izaga by a set. They're 4-all in the second set.
Sampras was ranked 2 in the world here last year. Now, of course, Jim Courier is pretty far away from the #1 spot.
real sign of frustration on the part of Pete Sampras. He looked up imploringly at the skies, which has taken on some puffy clouds here this afternoon.
Pavelnikov is leading. I mean, this is 2 break-point chances for a 4-1 lead. He should be worried. And let's keep this in mind. Pete Sampras, since Wimbledon of 1993, is 34-1 in Grand Slams. Only Courier has beaten him, and that was at this year's French.
Back to deuce.
That's great tennis to get himself out of trouble. 'Cause that's where he is. A fine serve and forced to make a pretty good volley.
Attack, but Sampras had the reply. 3-2. Tim Ryan with Mary Carrillo on the stadium court, where Roger Smith of the Bahamas, a qualifier ranked 187 in the world, against Pete Sampras, split sets and leading 3-2 here in the third. Here's a break in this third set, but love 15 in this game. Wide serve. Coach Bruce Foxworth in the back, and the rest of the Smith family
nice
in
to see
the front.
Nice to see his little boy, Errol Roger, has decided to wake up.
Yes, I guess after he won that first set, he decided to get involved in the cheering section.
See, I guess they nudged him awake.
Well, his daddy's doing just fine.
Errol Roger Smith III. He's going to have a hard time living up to that name.
Got it.
Played that volley pretty close, Daddy did.
14-13.
Not sure he wanted to volley it that close to the sideline. But it stayed in. Game point now for a 4-2 lead.
4-2.
This is very bad luck for Sampras. Pretty cheesy way to hold serve, but it's good enough. Having a nice day out here on the stadium court.
2-4, Pete Sampras. Running out of games in this set.
15-1.
That's the Sampras squad. Coach Tim Gullickson in the blue cap. A couple of people over. Delana Mulcahy in the white cap, worn backwards. Gus and Stella Sampras, Pete's brother and sister, watching on.
Delana's got her hat in the rally mode there for Pete.
I don't know. Maybe she's become a Roger Smith fan. Smith's baby doesn't know how to wear a hat either. Overplay it, did he?
Not at all. No, in fact, this game is looking more and more like Brad Gilbert's to me.
Tim, you say that because Brad Gilbert never hits the ball too hard. Doesn't give you much pace, and then when you think you've got it, he hits it a little harder than you want.
That's what Smith has done here frequently today, and you pointed out earlier that the lack of consistent pace has bothered Sampras.
Sampras.
Sampras holds. Will return to the U.S. Open after this word from your local station.
Airing Monday, September 12th. CBS Sports coverage of the U.S. Open, a USTA event, is sponsored by Chanel Women's Fragrances, Elegant Chanel No. 5 and Provocative Cocoa. Infinity Luxury Automobiles. Infinity. It's everything that's possible. And by IBM. There's never been a better time to do business with IBM.
Four games to three, Roger Smith on the stadium court, serving against Pete Sampras, now 15. Up a break here in the third. He won the first set, 6-4. Sampras the second, 6-2. Number 187 against number 1. We've had some upsets in this tournament already, but obviously this would be the biggest of all. Lots of tennis still to be played. And I love 30.
Love 30.
Some other sports going on today. Look at this. Had no idea. Indianapolis, 45-8 over Houston. Seahawks off to a good start.
15-13.
6 aces now by Smith. Right on the paint. 15-30.
Sampras had 3 break points in the second game of this set.
15-14.
And he squandered them. A couple here, and he's been only 2 for 7 on the day, which are un-Sampras-like numbers.
First serve.
For Pete Sampras.
Haven't had much to clap about in that section. Rosemary Gullickson right in the middle of your screen.
Game's up for
Gullickson's wife. They must be feeling a little bit better about this. He had a couple of pretty good-looking shots to break. That even looked a little wide on our super slow-mo, but the call stayed good.
first system.
That was Pete asking the net judge if she heard a let. She nodded affirmative. 6 aces now for Sampras. I know these aren't baseball scores because the scores are too high. Atlanta, the winner. Green Bay on top of Philadelphia. And not only that, they also know there's no baseball. You know, we're at the U.S. Open. You get locked into this tennis here. This is the event. 30 love Sampras. Chance to move up 5-4 here in the third set. Now Roger Smith he has gone after every single ball. He didn't have much chance on that one, but that's the way this guy has approached this match today. Go for it.
Sampras really didn't do enough with this volley off of that shot. Just kind of shoved at the ball into the open court, so Smith made a pretty good try, but couldn't control it.
Sampras gets a first serve again. Oh, perfect volley from Pete Sampras and a 5-4 lead here in the third. Peter Smith serving at 4-5 here in the third. Split sets with Pete Sampras and a good service winner. 15-love.
When Smith got broken the last game, he only got in one first serve, and that was an ace. I think Sampras is starting to figure out the spin of the second delivery. On a nice little run here.
Clean winner.
15 all.
Talked about his second serve stats very well. Mary won 8 of his first 10 on second serve. He won the first 8 points. 8 of the first 10 points on second serve. Since that time, he's won only 11 of the next 32. Pete's checking the height of the net.
Well, they haven't gone his way. Been a very friendly net for Roger Smith.
30 all.
Just after their little exchange at the net, Sampras measured it with his racket. indicating that maybe it's been tilted in favor of Smith.
Towards the Caribbean.
30 all. It was well out, too. Pete seemed to think it was not. 40-30. Smith trying to get even at 5 all. These two have never played each other before.
They'll probably both remember this one.
I would say so.
Advantage.
5 double faults now for Smith, and what a costly one there. Break point for the set.
First serve.
Good serve.
That really is a beauty. Gutsy serve 107 to save set point. He's taking his time. That's very smart. Trying to control the rhythm of this very important part of the match. The old fake blue shoelace routine. Sampras had to hit an excellent passing shot because the approach was good, and Smith was leaning that way. Sampras still got him.
Another break for the set. Break point opportunity for Pete Sampras. Set a piece here in the third on the stadium court. Serve. Same spot too. Got wide. That backhand. Got him. Well, those are two great shots. That was a good serve right at his body, Mary. Good return from Sampras.
Advantage Sampras.
Did the same thing. The forehand down the line winner. Another set point. Very athletic stab volley there, keeps him in the point, and then he gets to finish it off. I mean, to deny the number one player in the world, 3 set points like this is pretty impressive stuff.
Too deep, too good from Sampras. Yet another set point opportunity. Number 4.
How about his Sampras?
Sampras burns for the sky, breaks for the 3rd set against a very determined Roger Smith.
On his 4th set point, I don't even think he hits this one too cleanly, but the smack produces a terrific angle, good enough to secure this
Please
set.
hold your seats, ladies and gentlemen.
He needs all the help he can get.
Thank you.
And he's playing against an inspired Bahamian. The net is obviously made in the Bahamas.
I'm sure.
It's favoring Roger Smith. Roger Smith, Sampras has not been able to kick loose this guy.
Well, it's more than anybody here in the stadium or watching at home could have expected number 187 to put up this kind of a battle. Great credit to Roger Smith, an old pro, as we've said. He's not some nervous young kid out there. He's 30 years old. He's played Davis Cup. He's been on the court with some of the big names. Had a tremendous amount of success over the years, hence his ranking, but he has not been a nervous Nelly. He's just been a battler enjoying his opportunity.
I gave him 7 games in the pool. So I was way off.
Well, you had
not
a lot
that there
of
was
company.
any wagering.
15 all.
Cedric Pioline up 2 sets on Jaime Izaga. Third round action. And here's the exciting young Russian Kafelnikov beating Carlos Costa. I'm told that Pioline has suffered an ankle sprain in his match.
13-15.
He was the finalist here a year ago against Pete Sampras. A surprise finalist. We may have some surprises this year. 40-15. 7 aces for Sampras. A little cloudier now than we've seen it all week long. Threatening. And another make it number 8 for Sampras, rolling through the first game of set number 4.
Sampras wins the first game.
Hi, I'm Chris Everett. I could be Chris too. I'm Chris. Just call me Chris. I can serve like Chris. Come on, you don't have to play tennis like I do to join the USTA. You just have to love tennis. Sure, the USTA puts on the US Open, but we also help organize thousands of other events nationwide and support the game for everyone. I've been a member since I was a little girl. Members can play on league teams and get great benefits, like an early shot at tickets for the U.S. Open.
To join America's Tennis Club, call 1-800-896-USTA. Call now and your special membership includes this 1994 U.S. Open t-shirt, a membership exclusive.
The USTA, America's Tennis Club.
This could be the Bahamas.
It looks like Pete Sampras is finally coming about. 5 straight games from 4-2 down.
The Bud One airship is bringing you the spectacular view of the Throgs Neck Bridge, the whole Caribbean, and Sampras coming about. The aerial ambassador of the King of Beers, proud to provide you with these aerial shots. There's love 15, Roger Smith. Down love 1 here in the 4th. And now down 2 sets to 1, having won the first 6-4. It's very nautical of you, Mary.
About 13.
Hey, you know, I lead a rich, full life.
Loud. 3 break points. Well, an update on the World Cup soccer action here in New York. Gee, I guess that tournament's over. This is a hugely popular sport, and the immigrant population particularly here in New York City. So on a holiday afternoon, you can expect to see it in the public parks. Was there despite the running effort by Sampras.
15-14.
Still 2 break points. A break for Sampras. And a 2-love lead here in the 4th. Let's go down again to Andrea Joyce at courtside.
All right, Tim, I'm with Tim Gullix and Pete Sampras' coach. A lot of stunned people in this crowd today. This isn't the match you expected, is it?
Well, not really. You know, Pete got off to a slow start, and Roger was playing very well. And actually, Rogers played well the first 3 sets, and Pete was lucky to come back and win that 3rd set.
What's made it so tough for Pete? What about Roger Smith's game?
I think Roger's been balling very well. He's been serving well, and I think the conditions are a little tougher today. It's a little windier, and Pete's, I don't think he ever really played him, so it's always hard to play somebody you've never played before.
Softballing been bothering him a little bit?
Yeah, I think the wind's bothering him a little bit, and he seemed to be just a little bit low energy when he came out here, so he's obviously picked it up, and he's playing pretty well at the moment.
On the positive side, though, as nerve-wracking as it is for you, is this a little bit good for him, a benefit to being tested, challenged, pushed?
Well, I think it is, and if he comes through this, you know, if he comes through this, it'll be very, very good for him, and he's looking very good at the moment.
All right, thanks, Tim. Back upstairs.
Thank you, Andrea. 2 great points in a row.
And this is a terrific shot. Look at Pete. Look how nice and low he gets, as though you're giving an instructional. Held his pose there. 6 straight games for Sampras. I think he knows very much now that he has finally
13-15.
gained control of this match. It sure took a while.
30-15. Sun has disappeared again here. Interesting to hear Tim Gullickson talk about the wind down there. It's very hard to know what effect the wind is having in this stadium. It's not always apparent by looking at flags or sitting up where we are. Great pass from Roger Smith.
30-all.
Sampras kind of just ambles into the net, not expecting that Smith could come up with a pass this good and this angled from that far behind the baseline. But he could.
30-all. 2-love Sampras in the 4th, up 2 sets to 1.
14-30.
Thanking a fan.
Got some encouragement from up in the seats and acknowledged it.
Game, Sampras.
Sampras holds for a 3-love lead here in the fourth.
Sampras leads 3 games to love.
And now, this tournament summary sponsored by Chanel Women's Fragrances, Elegant Chanel No. 5, and Provocative Cocoa.
Well, I'd say he did wake up from what his coach called a low energy level. Now in command, Karl Novacek, only man left in both singles and doubles, and that's because Todd Woodbridge of Australia is out. Bummer dude, Jensen's gone. Top seed and defending champion Pete Sampras leading 3 games to love in the fourth set. Roger Smith will serve the Bahamian, ranked number 187 in the world. Provided a lot of entertainment here against this top-seeded number 1 ranked player.
Love 15.
Great effort, some good shot making, and likable guy to boot.
Love 30. First serve.
Wants an overroll from Bill Barber in the chair. Thought it wide. But too close a shave for Barber.
Why did I know you were headed that way?
Yeah, see, that is
close
cutting
shave.
it a little close
Right.
for Barber. He doesn't make the overroll. I think it was wide.
Even he enjoyed that one. Perfectly timed Russian.
15-40.
That's one that the fans sitting in the crowd watching home say, if I could hit that once in my life.
Yeah, that's a career backhand.
Just once in my life. Sampras breaks to 4-love.
Sampras leads games to love.
Now the grandstand, Yevgeny Kafelnikov, the exciting young Russian, leading Carlos Costa of Spain, and 5-2 in the third, serving for the match. That is a young man to be reckoned with.
He plays Stick next round.
Despite his youth and inexperience in the Grand Slams, he is a dangerous customer here.
Going quickly now, 8 straight games for Silk Sampras. He's finally, you can tell now that both these guys know who's going to win this.
And he's picked up his tempo all over the court, too, just walking back, getting ready to serve, going to the ball, helping the ball boys. Just have a dinner reservation.
14-love.
Another race for Sampras, 9.
Five love, Sampras.
Roger Smith at love 5 here as the defending champion, Pete Sampras. There's an opportunity to wrap it up here if he can break in this game.
Low 15.
Six double faults for Roger Smith. Won the first set. Put a little scare into the Sampras fans. To the end. Yevgeny Kafelnikov has defeated Carlos Costa of Spain in straight sets, the number 14 seed. And remember that name, you'll be hearing more about it before this tournament's over.
Fifteen, 13.
At this rather desperate point of the match.
30 all.
He's had a couple of nice points, including this one.
Roger Smith trying to prevent the bagel here in this fourth set. Down love 5. No matter what happens, an apparent defeat looming in front of him. What a great day it's been for this 30-year-old veteran, ranked number 187 in the world. Bruce, just to have his entire family here in the Players Box, Stadium Court. U.S. Open, Flushing Meadow. Just a terrific day for him and his family to be able to get in on this on the center court. There they are, all not looking too happy, of course, because their man is facing defeat now. But what a great job! A lot of fun for them.
Those adjustments that Sampras makes. He tends to do that a couple times in the matches. It's just he's got little plastic things that keep his strings from rubbing together, create friction that would cause the strings to break. Quite a few of the pros use it.
Match point opportunity for Sampras on second serve. Tennis.
He might just switch rackets now. Doesn't like the way this one's behaving.
Him take that little thing off the butt that would indicate the numbers of those rackets for him as he prepares, like all the pros do, for the rackets in their bag. Make sure he identifies the right one. And Smith regains the advantage. Roger's grandmother. Sampras on the paint.
A good rally from both guys, but Sampras decides to finally end it. A terrific get here from Roger Smith, and he recovers well. But that Sampras down the line earns him a lot of money.
And it was inside the paint, as our super slogan showed you. That was well inside. And another match point.
Just advantage Sampras. A beautifully produced backhand. Knees down low. And Smith, in watching it, saying, hey, not even an inspired eye could do something about that. Match point.
Gotta love to fight. He wants to savor every possible second here on the stadium court. Trying to race that zero in this fourth set. Another brilliant return, acknowledged by Smith.
Sampras just met that one and had a lot of pace, 113 miles an hour. See, he just met it. Punted it into the open court for another match point. Timing.
Crowd loves this effort. Pete was just over talking to the Smith box there. A nice show and some conversation there. He got them smiling again.
Advantage Smith.
Number 187 in the world, Roger Smith. No bagel. 122 miles an hour.
5-1 ball.
Probably his last serve. What a nice one to take home with you. Routine.
Fastest serve of the match.
Standing O from the family box.
I've got to say, I haven't smiled this much in a match in a long, long time.
A lot of fun. Great effort. Now the champion. Try to serve it up.
Love 15.
Return. There's some calypso going on down there again.
Love 13.
Yeah, not enough. That pickup volley was a bit lazy. casual.
Well, Roger Smith may be serving again.
Love 14.
3 breakers. More Calypso. Ramastella. One save.
15-14.
Will serve again. So will we. We'll serve you more tennis in a moment. Conch chowder in there for Bahamian fans and for people like me. Good idea. Conch chowder at the U.S. Open. 2-5. Roger Smith. Trying to stay alive here.
15 love.
The most famous come from behind victory in U.S. Open history was just last year. Remember when Wally Masur was down against Jamie Morgan? 1-5 in the fifth and got away to win that match. He went on to the semis.
30 love.
This would certainly put that one in the shade.
I think it would. 9 aces, 114-mile-an-hour one. That's good.
40-15.
This qualifier does not want to give up center stage. And he has been tremendously competitive and entertaining here. And he is alive. 5-3. Sampras will try again to serve it up.
He can't stop smiling.
Sampras leads.
This is better than the beach.
5-3.
What a lot of friends this guy's made today.
Tried to take the air out of the ball, tried to float it, tried to slice it. Just couldn't win it. Play like that.
Sampras 2 points away.
30 love.
Well-earned rest for Roger Smith. He's been running from the start of this match. Fourth match point for Sampras.
Sir.
And so Pete Sampras, after a struggle against number 187 in the world, a qualifier from the Bahamas, Roger Smith, and a standing ovation for both these players.
A very sweet movie made about the Jamaican bobsled team called Cruel Runnings a couple of years ago. There's another movie to be made here, starring Pete Sampras, called Roger and Me.
Now let's take you down to Pat O'Brien.
All right, Tim, Mary, thank you. And so after 2 hours and 22 minutes, Pete Sampras keeps his friends, and Roger Smith makes a whole lot of new ones here on the stadium court. And welcome back to our studios in New York. We've got more tennis, and a little later we're going to talk to Roger, and we're going to talk to Pete Sampras. We'll bring him here in the studio to talk to Vitas Gerulaitis and I. And Vitas, let's take a look at the top half of the men's draw now.
Well, Pete Sampras will play the winner of the Izaga Piolín, setting up a rematch of last year's final. Izaga Piolín has not played that well all year round, but came in a finalist last week at the Hamlet, so he's playing a little bit better coming into the
How do you think he played today? He's going to come in and talk to us, and we'll ask him personally.
He was a little bit sluggish. I thought he was a little bit low as far as energy went in today's match, but before the match today, everybody was telling Smith, you know, have fun. It's easier said than done. He played a great match.
Yeah, we're happy for him. We'll talk to both of them when we come back here at the National Tennis Center. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday in Flushing Meadows with us in a minute.
2 weeks from tonight, the medical drama you've heard about.
We can't make one mistake tomorrow, not one.
The one you won't forget.
Tennis Center, and there you see Pete Sampras' day at the office. He wins in 4 sets and played against Roger Smith, who walked off the court to an ovation from this crowd, and he's standing by live right now with Andrea Joyce. Andrea, you're on.
And, Pat, the crowd still has not left. They're still on their feet waiting for Roger Smith to leave. Congratulations on a terrific effort. You didn't want this one to end, did you?
No, I didn't want it. I wanted to go down at least giving it all I've got, and I tried at the end, but he came up with some pretty good shots, and he just got the better of me today.
You surprised a lot of people out here. What was the experience like for you?
Oh, it was a great experience. Well, you know, I'm here to play tennis, and you know, I'm just going to try my best. And too bad it wasn't good enough today, but maybe next time I'll come through.
Well, we all know that now that you're ranked 187th in the world, but what does this tell you about your game really after a match like this?
Oh, well, you know, I'm always capable of lifting my game up with a big guy. The opponent's been the lower guys, but I'm still here, and I'm still going to go for it. And hello, Bahamas, and I'm still here.
Here you are, and you got all these people out here cheering you on. Could you get used to this stadium court action?
It's a great feeling. I had a great week, and I joined some good fans, and I love it all.
All right. Well, we loved watching you. Congratulations again. Thank you, Roger. Back to you, Pat.
All right, Andrea, thank you, and good luck to him. And Pete, another day at the office where you didn't throw your racket or yell at the referees. And
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
you just won.
That's not really my cup of tea.
Did you feel a little sluggish out there, you were saying?
Yeah, I felt when I got out there, I just didn't have the timing that I've been having
in my last 2 matches, and the serve wasn't there, and just felt a bit sluggish. And I just got off to a bad start, lost the first set, and but I managed to get through somehow.
How do you feel as far as sharpness goes between last year's tournament where you won at the same time and this weekend coming into the final weekend of the US Open?
In 2 weeks of a lot of tennis, I'm not going to play well every match. And I remember last year I played Vicek in a tough 4-setter, and you know, you're not going to play well every day. And today I didn't play well, but I hung in there. Mentally I was pretty good, and it was just a tough day for me. It was a bit breezy, kind of swirling around, and it affected my tennis. But you have to give a lot of credit to Roger. He came out with nothing to lose and played well.
Yeah, we're going to show a couple points here. Is the ankle an issue at all? No, it's not at all. Okay, we'll stay off that. But you said that was a great point here by Roger.
Yeah, I mean, he came out playing with nothing to lose. He qualified. He's obviously been playing a lot of matches, and you know, you just get out there and I just had an off day, and I managed to mentally come through, and you know, he showed a lot of courage out there and just wasn't intimidated by the situation. And played quite well.
And that's what impressed me, because it's easy to say, hey, you know, you're playing Pete Sampras, the best player in the world, stadium court, go out and have fun. Yeah, well, that's easier said than done. Some other guys could buckle, choke, and it could be a 1-1-1 match, but he's played a very athletic match against you and really didn't gag today.
He didn't. I mean, he, with nothing to lose, just came out and just played good tennis, and you know, he served pretty well with a big kick serve, and I was having a hard time with that, and he rallied pretty well, and
he handed you a lot of off-speed balls too. Right?
Yeah, I really didn't get any sort of rhythm out there. He comes up with a lot of slices and pop things, and you know, it's a good match to get through. I mean, I really, you know, didn't play great, but
well, I mean, you didn't fear for your life here at any point this match.
Well, you never know. I mean, I'm down a break in the 3rd set, and you know, you never know. You can't take anything for granted out there, and so I'm happy I got through.
And Pete, you have a tendency, when you're a little bit flat on certain matches, and it doesn't happen too often with you, you feel like you spend a little more time on the baseline.
Well, I just didn't have a rhythm on my serve. You know, I was only serving about 105, 110, and you know, on a kind of a cool day. I mean, I mean, the serve just wasn't quite there, and you know, you just struggle sometimes. And today, but I still won.
Well, being a little nitpicky, I know, very rarely good. Well, he lost the set. I'm not used to seeing him lose a set.
I know, just like hey, we can talk about your golf game.
Oh no, let's not talk about my golf.
Who do you like in Agassi Chang? Which is
that's a pick 'em. I really don't see a clear favorite. Chang's going to make him play a lot of balls, and Andre's just going to have to stay on top of him. He's beaten Chang here a number of times, and Agassi, he's playing well, and so is Chang, and so it should be a pretty entertaining match.
Have you seen Yevgeny Kafelnikov play?
I saw 5 hours of him in the Australian Open. I was down.
This year, though.
Yeah, 9-7 in the 5th, and he's someone that I feel is going to be in the top 10, top 5 within the next couple of years. He's only, I think, 19, so he's just going to get better and better.
He just tells me he hit the golf ball 100 miles.
I just don't know where it's going.
That's not true.
Pete, thanks for joining us. We'll be watching. Good luck down the road.
Thanks, Pat.
We'll be back with more tennis here at the National Tennis Center.